I'm Pat Lapine. I've been at Maple Mountain close to 60 days. A few days from now will be 60 days, and I'll be transitioning back to my normal life. What brought me to Maple Mountain was the fact that I have some PTSD, some deep-rooted trauma that's happened to me throughout my life. There's some traumatic experiences. When I was a child, growing up, I was a product of a very broken house, and that led me to act out. And I acted out, and I ended up going to group homes and other detention facilities for, behaviors that I shouldn't have been doing, but I did. At the time, I think maybe it felt like it was something that I needed to do, but I didn't know any better. I really didn't have a mother or father, figures there to kind of help guide me at that time. So as a childhood, I witnessed a lot of adverse or a lot of trauma actually growing up until I hit 18. And then I went and I joined the Army when I was 21. At that point, I know that if I didn't do something positive with my life, that I was going to probably end up in jail, or who knows worse. I mean, I could have ended up dead. Things weren't very bright, so I made the hard ride over the easy wrong, and ended up going into airborne infantry in the Army back in 2001. And I did multiple combat deployments, Iraq, Afghanistan, several other places throughout the world. Had a lot of trauma, combat-related trauma, sustained injuries. Tried to get help for that along the way. I don't think the programs that they had established at the time were working for me. So what I did a lot of the time was just take that baggage that you get, and those bad memories, the visions, the stuff that you had witnessed and seen and done firsthand, and take those and put them on that shelf in the back of your brain, and push them back in there with all that other trauma I had already had from, and I never dealt with when I was a kid. And put that way in the back. And when I put that there, is just almost like, putting more layers to the onion, like I have all this stuff that I didn't process, and I was just pushing it and filling that area up. So I didn't want to deal with it. It's painful. It's really painful to deal with that stuff. There's a lot of stuff I wasn't proud of. A lot of stuff I wasn't proud of when I was a kid. A lot of stuff that I wasn't proud of that I did as an adult. Of August of 2002, I retired from the Army. And when I retired from the Army, my transition back into civilian world was very, very difficult for me. There's programs set up, which I utilized through that the Army has, and then transitioning over to the VA side of the house, the Veteran Affairs side of the house. But there was a lot of bureaucratic red tape there. I mean, it took a long time to actually ever receive any of the care that I needed. And that's what was, I think, really detrimental to me at that time, was that I wasn't getting timely, help in a timely manner. And I was just in my own world, and I was getting worse and worse, I was not treating my family well. I wasn't treating anybody around me well. I started distancing myself from everyone. I had no friends. I would never even come off the property that I owned. And I was more or less just, feeding my own fire. And it was that internal struggle was just getting worse and worse. And I started deteriorating as a person. I couldn't even do normal everyday activities that, even like just say, you get up and brush your teeth and, and wash your face and, go about your day. And, that was even difficult for me. It got to the point where I couldn't receive the help that I needed to, and I had to act myself. The VA is a system that's set up to, help veterans. And, but I don't know if anybody's familiar with this, but, when you're not getting the care that you need, the level of care that you need in a timely manner, it can make all the difference. We lose 22 veterans a day to suicide. I myself was never 100% on the level of, taking my life or even come close to committing the act. But it's almost as if you don't, in the society, working through the VA in those programs, if you're not verbally suicidal, hey, I feel like I can take my life, I feel like I shouldn't be here, the help doesn't come, and you don't have to be suicidal in order to need help, For me, I was, there's definitely thoughts and ideas of, hey, it would be great, the world would just be a better place without me, Man, it's really difficult to say now, looking back at that time. But, because I know now that this world is a better place with me in it. But to get back to the story, so what happened was I had reached out to, my wife had helped me. She was, my biggest fan. And I didn't really have anybody else but her. And she identified with me and let me know that I was really struggling and made me notice some of the things that I was doing or I wasn't doing. And so with her help, I started reaching out to other facilities. I started calling admission programs. I started, because it's such a hard time that I wasn't getting the help that I needed through the VA, and it just seemed diluted, and it seemed like, oh, we can fit you in 2 months from now to see the behavioral health or mental health specialist. And, when you go there, you go and you talk, and it's talk therapy, and then it's over with, and you don't feel like you really ever got to the problem, or to the issues that we had. It was just scratching the surface, and then, oh, your time's up, let's go somewhere else. So I started calling the admissions, like I had said, of all these programs across the United States. And I had a few questions, and a few of those questions were, how many beds did you have at your facilities? And that, to me, right there, the number of beds to the number of caretakers, therapists there, and other counselors, neurofeedback, everything. Those patient care advocates, what was the number? What was the ratio? Oh, we got 50 beds. Oh, we have 60 beds, but we only have, very few staff member to facilitate. And I was getting this everywhere. And then they were starting to call me back as if, almost like they were heckling me to come to their program, and it felt like they wanted to use me for money. They didn't really truly care about me. And it was getting frustrating because, as the days went on, and I couldn't find that right place to go, and I couldn't lock that down, it really, that built up, the frustration built up too. But then one day I found Maple Mountain. And when I got to their webpage, something clicked right then and there. There's a saying that says it on their opening page. It's like, heal your brain, take back your life, and that just right there, boom, stuck out to me. I called admissions. I started talking to some of the people, some fantastic people. They had a minimal amount of beds, And they have a great number of caretakers that are there. And when I say caretakers, I mean, therapeutical staff on their behavioral health side. And they have other advocates that are there. They do several different types of programs that aren't just normal traditional programs. I made contact with a few people in their admin office, in their administration, and they came near and dear to my heart, these people did. Because not only, from the get-go, it showed like it was different than the other admin people that I've called, the administrations from these other programs. And they showed like there was a sincere connection there, a genuine care for my well-being, and I just talked to these people, on the phone, and right off the back, I already had that connection. So I decided that, Maple Mountain was something that, it was the facility that I wanted to attend. And there was a little snafus with insurance, but that was a little extra stress on my behalf, but they were so helpful. Every day they would contact me and keep me updated. They would ask how I was doing, you know what I mean? We sit and we would just talk on the phone, and then they made it possible for me to be here. And when I came, from start to finish through this program up to right now, I've always felt, that the entirety of the staff at Maple Mountain, they're not there just to collect a paycheck. They're there because they care for what they're doing. They care about each and every one of us, and they care, it just shines through their actions. They don't even have to, it's not what they say, it's what they do for you, The treatment at Maple Mountain has been fantastic. They don't just embrace, one type of therapy. It's not just sitting there and, talking about your day. It can be, if that's what works for you, If not, they also have other therapies. There's EMDR, there's ART. They get you working on so many different levels. They also do, there's a spiritual level that you can do. And a lot of it's the program that they have. A lot of it can be adjusted and fine-tuned to the individual, which is fantastic, because we're all different. The one thing that we have in common is that we all have a trauma that we're dealing with. That's why we're here. But we're all individuals and we're different, and they're flexible. They're able to actually develop a plan according to you, and to help you out to get to where you need to be. My journey's not over, but Maple Mountain has allowed me to put one foot in front of the other, to start that journey, to gain some of the processing skills that I need, to, be able to just negotiate and navigate just the civilian world for me, which I call it, because, for the last 20 years, I was told who to be. I was told what to do. I was told how to act. And I don't have that anymore. Now I get to go find who I am, and I get to be the person that I want to be. And Maple Mountain has really helped me gain some basic skills and, the ability to move forward in my life in a positive way. And I will be forever grateful. I really will.